Hey everybody, welcome to Obscurities and Miniatures, and you know what? It's time for another big Comet Lord model. I haven't built or painted any in a while, so I gotta get started on this right away. Okay, well it may not be his biggest model. We've got one of his bigger guys right here. I love these kind of, I want to say like large, but not overtly large. I guess huge would be the right word. Models of his. But we're going to look at the Drakkar Dreadnought today. I believe that's what he was called. And I guess he's just a little bit smaller than our augmented Demon Lord here in some ways. So this model, like most of Comet Lord's models, comes in a variety of poses. I believe there's 3 poses, and then you have the option of having this big smoking, literally smoking, he's got smoke coming out of his mouth there, Dragon Man with or without wings. So obviously I'm going to go with a winged version. And those wings are big, really big. And despite my screen, which I still haven't replaced, like check this out, you can see, look at those lines. Those are from the print screen. I have no idea what's going on. I really should replace it, but I'm too lazy. And I figure I can just abuse the current screen until it just gives out, if I can stand those marks. So with those wings on, he has got a humongous wingspan. Part of me kind of feels guilty putting him on a 50mm base, considering just how big those are. But I mean, I don't know, I could put him on a bigger one, I guess. It just doesn't feel right. And his tools of the trade. These came out pretty nice, though. Everything fits really well. That is always a plus. I know there was one pose where he's more in attack mode, but we opted to go with the more at ease. So I'll get him glued together. I'll grab a couple of other Dragonborn style models from various companies, and some of my big Comet Lord friends might make an appearance as well if I can remember where I placed them. So sit tight and we'll see who shows up. Okay, our Dreadnought, Drakkar Dreadnought is done. Got his base handy. Not that I'm going to be able to actually keep him on it, because he's got an absolutely massive wingspan, as you can see. He barely fits on the screen, but that's fine by me. He's a cool dude. Let's see if I can... There we go. Get it a little bit zoomed out there. So I have not glued these wings on, and as I was mentioning before, they are totally optional. There is a version of the body available that does not even have those wing parts there, so you don't have to worry about that. But he's a good-sized model. I am liking it. Of course, he can kind of balance like that on the very tips of that base. That's a 50mm base, but then again, if you wanted to put him on a larger one, I know they had a file available for a bigger base. And if you're like me and have a million of them anyway laying around, that shouldn't be too hard to procure another one for him. And just to put things in perspective, I went ahead, there were a bunch of those Arcane Knights the month that he came out, to give you a good idea of the size of this guy. He's a big one. Let's see, I got another of the Arcane Knights. I thought these were particularly neat with their mystic symbols getting thrown up like that. So my only real issue with this guy is that I thought a lot of the poses were kind of samey. Having built, having printed, and having worked on a lot of Comet Lord models, I thought the options for this guy were kind of pretty similar, but I would have liked to have seen some other weapon options, I think. That might have swayed me. Then again, it's not like it's going to stop me from printing a big giant dragon dude with his mouth, you know, fuming smoke out of it. And as promised, I was going to grab a couple other of the larger Comet Lord models I've got laying around, or at least handy. I do not remember what these guys are called. This is one of the very first models I ever printed myself. But it's also, and I had to support it myself. I don't even think those were supported yet. That was a long time ago. But you can see Comet Lord, I think I love this size, everything on the huge bases. I think he really excels when he does these large scale big bads. So our Dreadnought may not be as big as the Overlord Fiend here, but out of the way, pesky human. I'm wondering if I'm going to have to pin him to that base with those wings. I feel like he's almost just too big. A model that I've been waiting to get around to painting. Wasn't sure how to paint him yet. I don't remember. This is like the Toad Demon or something. I know he had a variation where he had his tongue like flipping out. But you can see here, they definitely have a nice table presence. I'm wondering... Okay, I didn't glue him on the base, thankfully. He's been sitting like that, waiting. Obviously, that's a much larger base. I want to say it's like an 80 millimeter base. If you wanted to put him on there, that might work, actually. But in the end, they are still no match for probably one of my all-time favorite Comet Lord models. And yeah, I do need to actually print out the Comet Lord avatar, or whatever it was called. All his crazy tentacles. Mr. Mayhem. He can't fit on the screen either, but that's because he's got that crazy tentacle cape growing out of his back there. You can see him somewhat. He's obscured by those wings. I'm kind of tempted to print another one. I know there was a bit more of an action pose one, and maybe print him without the wings. But yeah, I'm a sucker for Comet Lord stuff, especially the more unique and interesting models. I think he definitely puts out some nice and varied creatures, especially when they start veering into that kind of Soulsborne territory, kind of dark, grimdark, messed up monster aesthetic, which I really like. So I'm probably going to cheat, and I want to say, aren't these based kind of like on the Draconian Juggernauts or something like that? I'm going to paint them up in blue. I like those. Anyway, I'll put a link down below if you guys want to check out this model or any of the other stuff in Comet Lord's quite impressive back catalog at this point. There is a lot to enjoy there, and hopefully something that's going to strike your fancy just as much as mine. So, with that said, this has been High Lord Tamberlane with Obscurities and Miniatures saying thanks for watching, and we will see you back here soon. Bye-bye.